Greetings. Just wanted to take this short opportunity to introduce you to the book Keeping the Love You Find. This book has been a bestseller, New York Times bestseller, 11 times. Harville Hendrix, the author, has been on an Oprah show about 14 times. There have been 4 million copies of this book sold. So I'm just going to be facilitating the very hard work that Harville Hendrix and Helen Hunt have achieved, both in not being successful in relationships and then being very successful over a 40-year period. So if we admit all of us want to have that situation where we find that perfect person and live life happily ever after. Only problem, that doesn't usually happen. Usually this amazing person we think we're going to spend the rest of our life with does not end up fulfilling our dreams, but ends up actually being our worst nightmare. So we dump them. Then we find somebody else and we think they're very different to the person we've just got rid of, but find out actually they have very similar characteristics. So the life and professional experience of these two, Helen and Hendrix, have come to some really important understandings about relationships. And it starts off when we are young, and no parents are ever perfect. But there are times in our relationships with our parents where we get wounded and where our emotional needs are not met. And we develop defenses, ways of behaving that try and help us survive in those situations and defend us against the pain. So those defenses, those ways of behaving actually become who we are. So when we choose, when we are growing up, we actually form an imago or an image of the positive and negative characteristics of our early caretakers. Kind of like a zebra, a little calf of a zebra mother. You know, it is those negative and positive characteristics that we have kept as an image that help us know, okay, that is our caretaker, to identify them. Just like a little zebra calf. You know, all zebras look the same to me, but this little zebra calf has a unique way of knowing that is that zebra over there with those particular markings, that's my mom. So we do the same. Then our unconscious in relationships gets to work, and on a very unconscious level, with a little bit of our conscious thinking coming into play, we choose somebody on a real gut level. We just know we're in love with this particular person because our unconscious has been at work to choose somebody who has a similar imago to us, except they might have developed ways of adapting to their childhood situation with slightly different defenses and ways of behaving. So let me give you an example. Say, for example, you had a childhood where there was some abandonment. So now because you have been abandoned, you become very needy and clingy to really have those close connected relationships. Your partner, on the other hand, might have had similar kinds of experiences of being abandoned in one way or another. And they do the exact opposite. They are very fearful of closeness because they don't want to get close and then experience what it is not to be close. So they just are quite drawn, quite distant. So that's just an example. So what we're looking at here in this book is not how to find the perfect partner, but how, because your unconscious does quite a good job at that, but how to keep the love you find. So how to keep the person that you have chosen to be with. Added to kind of looking back at childhood patterns and defenses and being aware of those and how they are playing their part in any relationship, any close relationship. Harville and Helen also introduced the understanding that in our society, there is a lot of emotional deprivation. So as a result, there's a big power struggle. So the power struggle is not only between people, it's also kind of what goes on in our culture. That's why we have the isms, patriotism, racism, all the discriminations. It's a power struggle to see who can get their needs met. So they come up with a way of relating and understanding one another, so that actually you and your partner, if you choose to hang in there, because if you choose to hang in there, it's God's beautiful way actually of saying, when there is this tough time, if you hang in there, it's your greatest opportunity for growth. It's your greatest opportunity to understand each other deeply and to have this most amazing, wonderful relationship. And there are a lot of sort of practical exercises and ways of enhancing a way of relating that's going to last. And that, I think, is what all of us want. One of the key ingredients is to create safeness in relationships. And they talk about that in 3 ways. One is being able to really, really listen to what it is that somebody else is trying to communicate, especially when they have strong feelings, and also taking responsibility for what you say and how you say it. The second way of really creating safeness is a commitment to zero negativity, because negativity is the one thing that's really going to destroy any relationship. And the other is a commitment to lots of affirmations. Affirmations are very much part of building somebody up, but it's also part of validating them, allowing them to be themselves. So there's a lot more to say, but I just wanted to give you this short introduction. Very excited about going through this with you. So see you on Saturday.